We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is Godzilla Ghost Pepper Ramen Noodles. Godzilla, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. I like this packaging. Very, very entertaining. This is a Toho licensed product. They are very, 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 very on top of things that are calling themselves Godzilla. So, a very good example, I think, for everybody else. Okay, the Godzilla Ramen Challenge, which is to finish a whole bowl. Okay. Woo! Wow, what a challenge, Godzilla. Really putting it to us there, buddy. Made from A-sha Foods out of Taiwan. Is this, it's in Tainan rather than Taipei. Okay, so, all right, here's the ingredient panel. I did another ramen from FYE. This is from FYE exclusive. I did another ramen called the My Hero Academia Endeavor Hellflame Ghost Pepper, and the ingredient panel looked very similar to this. We see an extract, and that is it. So I'm assuming it's a ghost pepper extract. The word ghost pepper or Holokia did not appear here anywhere. Oh baby, look at this action. That's yeah. Yeah, buddy. All right. Oh, yeah, this is nice. Look at that. Oh. Oh, so we got... Oh, yeah. Godzilla's a cool character. He's a great character. I love Godzilla. He's on another channel where me and my kid do toy reviews. We've got probably 50 or 60 characters from the Godzilla world. So a lot of different ones, a lot of different videos. We're big fans of Godzilla. He's cool. He's just a cultural icon that I think is just, he's very, very cool. His backstory is rough. Don't get me wrong. It is rough. It is sort of the Japanese culture collectively trying to come to terms with the atomic bomb, or bombs, I guess, plural, that were dropped on them. And that sort of national grief sort of a thing. But as an actual, I guess, cinema icon, I've always found him just really, really cool. And that was when I was younger. Obviously, I didn't realize the depth to it. And I think a lot of it is just, he's a spectacle, and they've kind of gotten away from the anti-nuclear message a little bit. But and they've, especially in the 80s, there was a cartoon that was almost an embrace of Godzilla. Just kind of fascinating, that whole dynamic there. But anyway, all right, so this is boiling water, cook for 3 minutes, drain it, sauce it, eat it. Okay. We're not going to be doing that. We are going to be doing my standard, throw it in for 4 minutes, and we're going to let it sit. Let it sit real long. So these are flat noodles, just like those Endeavor Hellflame noodles. Let me just see if they're the same dry. Yeah, they are. There's a weird saltiness to these that I find kind of interesting. You can see this one's actually fairly even. I had another one in that. And you can check out that video in the Ramen playlist, by the way, if you want to see it. The My Hero Academia Endeavor Hellflame ramen. So that one, it was a pretty fast drain. I did it for actually 3.5 minutes. And I was kind of thinking that I really should have gone with 4. Sauce packet is identical. Okay, identical. Literally, this is the same color scheme, the A-sha, the same. This is 100% everything. It is identical. So those other ramens were pretty good, and I'm expecting that these, if they're the same thing, are going to be just more of a continuation of that, which I think is going to be fascinating if that is the case. If you haven't seen that video, I made a number of different commentary type stuff about the differences between it and Japanese ramen. And if they did the same thing here, it's going to be a very, very fascinating dynamic to me. Given that, of course, let's cook these noodles. Let's get into it. We'll taste it. We'll see if it is. I don't want to have that discussion unless it's appropriate. If the noodles actually support that line of discussion. So we're going to do that real quick. We're going to go cook these things up and drain them. We'll come back. So we'll sauce them up, and then get into them and see just how similar or not they happen to be. Okay, so I cooked this one for 30 seconds longer. We went 4 minutes. Oh boy, it's still hot. We did 4 minutes. And let it sit for, I think, like a minute. I still have sit for about the same time. So I thought that this packet, only one packet in there, I thought this packet was actually a paste because it describes it as a paste, but no. It is very liquidy, as you shall see. Very runny, very liquidy. All right. And a little oily. Okay. So, because it is that way, I would say you want to probably keep a little liquid in those noodles to make sure that you have enough to stir it up appropriately. All right. So I try to keep a little in there. This bowl is really hot. I don't approve. I'm burning my fingers. I'm burning my fingers here for you guys. My TRPV1 sensors on my fingers are protesting the borderline cellular damage. Okay, so this smells very similar to the Endeavor Hellflame. And so the way I described that was, there's a certain smell of spices, Chinese 5 spice, and things like that when you walk into either a Chinese market or really maybe even an Asian market in general, but definitely anything that has sort of a Chinese slant to it. Vietnamese will have a similar sort of aspect to it. You walk in, there's this very distinctive smell. Same thing with a lot of the restaurants, and it is a lot of the aromatics that they typically use. I mentioned Chinese 5 spice, white pepper, things like that. If you made that into a sauce, that is what I described the other one as tasting like. This one smells very similar. So I think what we might have is basically a duplication from A-sha of the same noodles, the same sauce, just one is going in a My Hero Academia Endeavor Hellflame packaging, and the other is going into Godzilla packaging. But the only way we're going to find out for sure is if we get in and taste it, so let's do that right now. So this tastes slightly saltier for some reason. But overall, it is the same thing, which is sort of vaguely Chinese flavored hot. Getting some of the peppercorn, some of the spices. But this is basically the same. And the other one was a heat level of a legit one, which is where I put this as well. Being that it's identical and everything. So this is going to be a shorter video. because I covered so much in that other one. And you can go check that out in the ramen playlist if you're interested in seeing extended commentary. But for this one, I'm just going to bust through these and we'll call it good. So I will say this. 4 minutes does give you about the right amount of chew and softness. So 4 minutes, cooking at 4 minutes, unless you're starting with boiling water, is the way to go. Again, this is a FYE exclusive also. But I mean, maybe they're figuring Godzilla fans won't be fans of My Hero Academia somehow. Here's the deal. Alright, here's the deal with this. I didn't promise we were going to talk about some of the cultural stuff, so let's do that, actually. We'll differentiate it up. Oh, hey, they're calling this Mandarin style ramen. That's the flat noodles. It's Mandarin style. That wasn't on the other packaging. They're calling the flat noodles Mandarin style. Okay, these are Mandarin style ramen. And oh boy, so we have obviously a very Chinese take on ramen for a Japanese cultural icon of Godzilla. And he's been around since 1954. Next year, 2024, will be the 70. He'll be 70. So you got a 70-year-old huge cultural icon. And it's interesting to me that Toho allowed a non-Japanese company to license and produce a food item for this sort of Japanese figure. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm not getting into any of that. It kind of amazes me. Given how protective Toho tends to be with their licensing, it fascinates me. And wow, I mean, this style of this is a very Chinese flavored sauce that goes in here. And I guess I'm just kind of stunned by that they would do that. I mean, obviously, My Hero Academia is a Japanese anime, but this he's such an icon. It just kind of it stuns me a little bit that that would be the case. But I guess a lot of the toys they licensed the NECA. A lot of the toys are coming out of China as well. So I think a lot of that maybe points to there not being as much of a hard division between China and Japan as there formerly was for many, many, many years. So I guess that's a positive, but with food, there's a lot of Japanese persons I know that tend to be very purist, I guess I would say. And just the idea of this, it's maybe not for a Japanese audience, maybe it's more for a American audience, but maybe the world's getting to be more of a melting pot. Maybe we are seeing globalization in those terms, that those aren't those hard division lines anymore. It would make sense that food is kind of the catalyst for that, I think, if that is the case of what's going on. But I'm still kind of shocked. I would have expected, not Korean noodles. Well, I would expect the heat of Korean noodles with a Japanese, much more of a Japanese lean to it. But wow. That's all I can say is I'm a little surprised by that. But again, these are clones of the... I don't know which came first, either the Godzilla or the My Hero Academia Endeavor Hellflame. They are the same thing, though. So if you can find one and not the other, and you're really interested in eating them and you don't really care about the packaging, I don't care about the packaging. I'm going to be... I've already tossed the outer shell of the My Hero Academia. I'm not keeping any of this stuff from Godzilla. If I had a Godzilla shrine, as much as a fan of I am a Godzilla, I'm not going to keep this just so I can have the packaging intact. You know, like my collector, I guess, sort of aspect doesn't go that far. I don't keep a lot of my old hot sauce bottles or anything like that. Part of me thinks I should, but I'm way behind now. Right, that's over 400 bottles I don't have, and can't. Some of them I can't get anymore because the sauces are done. Some cases the manufacturers are done. If I was going to do that, I should have done it a long time ago. But then I start to think of space considerations and how a lot of hobbies that I've had to either discontinue entirely or strongly curtail because of physical space limitations. So, I mean, I think there's limits to that. Klinko's already doing the work of collecting hot sauce bottles for us, so I'll leave it to him. He's got a lot more probably than I've definitely a lot more than I've tried of sauces. You know, he's got entire lines, but if you're just keeping the bottles and not consuming the sauces, I mean, I guess that factors in there as well. But anyway, way off the subject here. Cool packaging. I love to see Godzilla's name out there still, and I hope that it lasts forever. Very, like I said, if you made that sort of smell that you get when you walk into a Chinese market into a sauce, that's about what these taste like. Legit one, as far as heat, there's no competition for Korean noodles. In fact, there's some spicy noodles I've had from Japan that are hotter than this as well. So, definitely not really challenging along those lines. The flatter noodles, my preference is more for the round ones, the traditional ramen. Mandarin style ramen, though, I've never had it before to my knowledge, and it's not bad. These noodles are kind of, I said this in the other video as well, they're kind of between a more traditional round Japanese ramen noodle and a flat noodle like a fettuccine. It's kind of between those two, if that makes sense. So it's not, to me, it doesn't read super ramen-ish. Definitely is a lot more starchy, clumps together. It's got a lot more chew to it, I think, than normal ramen does, but I don't dislike it. I mean, my preference is more for ramen, but I will certainly have no trouble whipping through the rest of these. The taste is pretty solid, so leave it at that. And there we go. The Godzilla Ghost Pepper Ramen Noodles, an FYE exclusive. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.